Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Yes, you heard that correctly. Since the days of Babe Ruth, 1930s, this is the best start of any team that has won the World Series. Wow. What a deal it is. What a day it is to be a Dodger. And I'll tell you what, if you are the opponent of the Dodgers are like, have you ever had that dream where you have somebody chasing you, like the bad guy or the boogeyman or something like that, and it's like no matter what you do, you can't run fast enough. You think you get away from them, and then no matter what you do, they're there. They're just right around the corner every single time that you try to get away from them, and there is absolutely not anything you can do to get away. That is the Dodgers for this team. It does not matter what the other team does. The Dodgers seem to have an answer. They seem to do what they need to do to win. They get enough pitching. The bullpen's elite. They get a home run or two. They get a bloop and a blast, and they end up winning. So the night was stolen by Big Red. Dustin May, what a game he had. And woo, that first inning. I mean, you talk about some adrenaline. You talk about like just a wild bull running in a race. That was Dustin May right there. I mean, that was some of the most impressive stuff that you could possibly see. The first inning, the entire outing, I mean, no doubt about it. But that first inning was incredible. And here you got to be thinking, if you are the Braves, this is our Cy Young guy, the guy that we need to be able to count on to absolutely win games. This is the number 5 starter for the Dodgers. I mean, you're looking at that, of course. The way it's set up, Tyler Glasnow was number 4. Dustin May was number 5. Now you roll it back to Blake Snell. You got to be thinking, this isn't even fair. And that's, the reason why not very many teams start 7-0. First of all, it's hard to win that many games in a row baseball-wise, even if you're a superior team, just because there's so many neutralizing aspects of the game. But then also, you don't start clicking on all cylinders to begin a season usually. And so that's a factor. And then also, too, I mean, after you win a World Series, sometimes there isn't like that sense of urgency to go 7-0 to start the season. So very impressive. I talked all off season, and you're seeing it right in front of your own eyes, that Andrew Friedman put together a roster. He made a statement very early in the off season that there will be no complacency in this Dodgers organization, and there absolutely hasn't been. So let's get back to Dustin May. How about that first inning? I mean, the right turn of the sinker was incredible. So here's the incredibleness behind it. Now, sit down, listen, pay attention, because this matters. It's a little bit geeky, but it's going to explain just how incredible Dustin May's raw stuff actually is. So his sinker, so like there's a 4-seam. The 4-seam is the straight fastball. The 2-seam is the one that turns to the arm side. So if you're right-handed, it turns right. If you're left-handed, it turns left. So on the spin rate chart, 2,300 and below, typically speaking, hitters or pitchers aren't going to be able to throw anything straight and be able to consistently get outs with that fastball. They're going to need movement to pitch to soft contact, anything 2,300 and below. So let's say if your spin rate averages like 2,250, they're going to want you to move the ball with a sinker instead of trying to throw the ball and carry the ball with a 4-seam. So that 2,300 is the cutoff. Well, how about the sinker? Not the 4-seam. Sinker for Dustin May had almost 2,600 RPMs. The sinker. And then the 4-seam had over 2,600 RPMs. I mean, this is like, you're talking about a sinker that has 20 some odd inches of movement and 2,600 RPMs. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. That's one of the most metrically impressive pitches that I have ever seen in my life, that sinker of Dustin May. And that's the right turn. Then you have the left turn of the sweeper. I mean, the sweeper that he threw to Austin Riley was just insane. I mean, like if you're Austin Riley, we talked about this with Tyler Glasnow yesterday. You walk back to the dugout and you're like, okay, I can't even get mad about that, because that sweeper that I saw, that I have to get ready for that 2-seam that turns 20 some odd inches to the right of Dustin May, so I have to get ready for that. And then he's throwing the sweeper that has the equal amount of movement to the left, and you're talking about like a 3-foot split. I mean, you're talking about the difference in a pitch that can start. So in other words, here's what I'm trying to say. You can start two different pitches in the exact same location, and one's going to go over here 20 some odd inches. The other is going to go over there 20 some odd inches. And off the same starting location, you can have 3 feet of difference. And that's the tunneling effect that we talk about. That's what Dustin May has. And so when he threw that slider or that sweeper to Austin Riley, it's not even fair, because again, you gotta respect the right turn and all that. I mean, normal human being, no other human being that I've ever seen can come up with that kind of split, with that kind of velocity, with those kinds of RPMs as far as the spin on the baseball, like Dustin May. I mean, that's just, it was amazing stuff. It makes you turn your head. It makes you realize just how talented and how good his raw stuff is, and how fun he is to watch on the mound. I mean, Dustin May, in a season to where it can get kind of long, you can kind of just, they even call it the dog days of summer in August, right? It just kind of can get grindy. You need a guy like Dustin May that just kind of wears the emotions on his sleeves. It gets people excited. He gives you a little bit of rah-rah. You don't need that every day. I talked about that the other day, that if you rah-rah too much, you're going to be dead by June. But you do need some of it. You need some of your players, like the Teo Hernandez or the Kikes on the offensive side, to shoot some of that fun kind of kid energy into you. And Dustin May definitely does that. So the home run from Mookie Betts, super cool, obviously. And what was really cool about it was that Shohei Ohtani got the bloop right in front of it. Not necessarily a bloop, but it's just kind of a terminology. That's kind of a term that you use in baseball. When you get a base hit right in front of a home run, you call it the bloop and the blast. So Shohei Ohtani actually absolutely got things going with that. I don't even know how he hit that ball that he hit to right field. With the bloop and then the blast. Again, not saying that Shohei Ohtani did hit the ball hard or anything. That's just the terminology used for that. But what was really cool about that, obviously, is that Mookie Betts has hit 3 home runs this year. All 3 have been they've been go-ahead home runs. One of them, the walk-off, you remember. But right before that, go to my social media, and you can listen to Oral Hershiser talk about, hey, the Dodgers need to be looking for that breaking ball down and in. That needs to be the plan for the Dodgers. It sounds like a good plan to me. So Oral Hershiser's saying this, and then like 5 seconds later, the next pitch is thrown. That's exactly what Mookie Betts gets. I mean, it was a little bit more middle, but the point is it was breaking into Mookie Betts, and he kind of had to have that down and in type of swing that he's very good at. And I mean, a couple of seconds later, literally exactly what Oral Hershiser was saying the Dodgers needed to sit on, Mookie Betts sat on it and hit the go-ahead home run for the Dodgers. So I've said, well, let's back up. So how good is Oral Hershiser? I mean, you talk about it, and it's like, okay, the Dodgers are the best team on the field. They have announcers that can predict what happens. They have a manager that makes more money than everybody else. They have the best front office. They have the best fans. They have the best, I mean, what do the Dodgers not have? That's kind of the way it makes you feel right there, like the Dodgers absolutely have everything. But again, that's just one run. Yeah, I want to point this out, that without the base hits, without the base hit in front of it, that's just one run. That's not a go-ahead. And so the gathering of hits, of course, the home run is the meat and potatoes, but the gathering of hits is what really gets you over the top. The gathering of hits, it's what takes you from the 1 to the crooked number. Typically speaking, 1-run innings, if that's all you can muster up, that doesn't win games. It's the teams that can put together the crooked numbers that win games, and it's the base hits in front of the home runs that, typically speaking, gather those crooked number type of innings. And then after that, I'm still on cloud 9 about the absolute clinic the Dodgers put on after that home run from Mookie Betts. Edman, Tommy Edman, we talked yesterday how he practices hitting a line drive right over the opposite field infielder. If you're right-handed, right over the second baseman's head, left-handed over the shortstop. Well, and then I talked about if you hit the ball up the middle hard, that's like the one where you go, oh, yeah, I'm on it right there. Well, how about right after the home run, Tommy Edman bangs one right back up the middle, and then he steals second, draws a bad throw, goes to third, and then how about your catcher, Will Smith? Catcher in the game of baseball in 2025, in the modern day of lifting the baseball, all this stuff about dumping the barrel on the back and swinging on an incline all the way up to match the plane of the pitch, all that garbage. In today's day and age of baseball, with all that out there, your catcher shortened up. I say your catcher with emphasis because the catcher's position is supposed to be a guy that can hit home runs because it's so hard to hit for average because it's so hard to stay healthy. So when you do get a hit, you want it to matter more than just a base hit because you might not get a whole lot of hits because your hands are hurt or something's always wrong with a catcher's body, which we see with Will Smith quite a bit. So I emphasize your catcher gets into an 0-2 count, shortens up his swing, and just hits a little line drive about 3 feet off the ground, right underneath the second baseman, and scores Tommy Edman, who got on base with a hit up the middle, stole second, got third on a bad throw. Catcher hits about a 3-foot high line drive to the opposite field on 0-2 after he had shortened up, and then the Dodgers are on the board again. That's the dynamic offense that this Dodgers team is capable of. You hit the big home run with Mookie Betts, but it's surrounded by stealing a base, taking third on a bad throw, a base hit by Shohei Ohtani on a very difficult pitch to hit, a base hit on a 2-strike approach, and by the way, 2 outs as well, 2 outs, scoring, getting good hard contact with 2 strikes, scoring with 2 outs. Those are always winning baseball plays. And this is a roster that we just need to thank, as Dodgers fans, the front office. They have put together a roster that can consistently play dynamic baseball. They can execute every aspect of the game. I talked about it yesterday. I don't like trends when the Dodgers rely too much on home runs. That inning was a clinic, and I am still on cloud 9. So, complimentary baseball. This team absolutely understands complimentary baseball. So what do I mean? So like the offense has a good inning. What does the defense need to do? The defense needs to go, hey, offense gave us a good inning. Let's go out and let's capitalize on that momentum. Let's keep that momentum. Let's have a good inning of our own. So how about Anthony Bond actually went out and threw a scoreless inning as well. He hung a 0 and accurately pointing not just last night, Anthony Bonda has not allowed a run all year. So Anthony Bonda on the $1 million I talk about all the time. He might be the most valuable contract of anybody in Major League Baseball at the $1 million. I just love his grind. I've talked several different times. But after the Dodgers take the lead, how about the great catch by Teo Hernandez? Right after the Dodgers gather the momentum, that keeps the momentum. And then here's the complimentary baseball piece. Alex Vesia, my man Alex Vesia, 9 pitches, 8 strikes. So what is complimentary baseball? We got the lead. The other team is feeling the game slipping away from them. So let's just go out and play the odds. Let's throw the baseball in the strike zone. Let's let them feel the press of the game slipping away, and let's make them earn something, to earn doing something, to actually have to stop the momentum and get it back. Most of the time that won't happen, A, because hitting the baseball's hard to begin with, and B, it's even harder when you feel momentum slipping away for you. So the complimentary baseball piece from Alex Vesia last night, again, that was as clinical as watching the Tommy Edman, Will Smith sequence where the Dodgers scored with 2 outs and then the 0-2 count to Will Smith. Again, after taking the lead, 9 pitches for Alex Vesia, 8 of them were strikes, 3 up, 3 down. That's right after the Dodgers scored, right after they took the lead. So then you tell me as a fan, Dodgers just score. Mookie Betts hits a home run. Tommy Edmonds doing his thing. Alex Vesia comes out and just shuts down Atlanta. You tell me, what are you thinking at that point? Versus if the Dodgers score there, then Alex Vesia comes out and throws ball one, or even worse, walks the leadoff guy and then gives up a run and ties the game. You're not feeling the same way. So that was just tremendous complimentary baseball for Alex Vesia last night. The way that he filled up the strike zone is kind of what I'm getting to there. And then Tanner Scott came in and finished it off, which was really, really nice to see, and made things look very easy, especially with all the hard contact he's given up, with the runs he's given up. It was good to see Tanner Scott. Blake Trinan also put up a 0. He was dirty. Hey, we talked about the first outing of the year that he looked kind of hittable. He didn't look hittable last night. And Blake Trinan, just like Anthony Bonda, has yet to give up a run this year. He has 7 strikeouts to just 1 walk, and he is absolutely dirty. He is a video game. Tanner Scott finished it off, and again, it was good to see Tanner Scott finish it off in a way that made it look fairly easy. So this Dodgers team, again, 7-0, first World Series champion since the Yankees of the great Bambino Babe Ruth to start 7-0 after winning a World Series. And you have the rubber match, not the rubber match, but you have the chance to sweep the Atlanta Braves. You're talking about one of the best teams. Actually, when you look at all the kind of the computer model odds, now computer models are computer models. They are just that, and they're probably very rarely right. But the computer models would say that Atlanta is maybe the second best team in all of Major League Baseball. So to sweep them, to beat their number 1, their Cy Young guy, with your number 5, and to come back and to really, this offense still, hey, it has moments to where it has clinical type innings. Like we talked about, it's hitting a lot of home runs. There still is a better version out there, and that's scary. But you're 7-0. You have a chance to sweep what a lot of computer models would say is the best team, the second best team in Major League Baseball, and it's all good right now if you're a Dodgers fan. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the complimentary baseball the Dodgers played last night. I enjoyed watching the Dodgers show again how they come through in the clutch moments. I enjoyed just watching how, like, the professionals like Will Smith know when they need to just bear down with an 0-2 count. I enjoyed watching Tommy Edman do his thing. I enjoyed watching the dirtiness of Blake Trinan's pitches. I enjoyed just watching the blue-collarness of Anthony Bonda and Alex Vesia. I enjoyed just watching the complimentary piece to what he added to the game last night. And more than anything, I thoroughly enjoyed watching Dustin May make his return to the mound in a Major League game in a big, big way. So, hey, that's going to do it for LA segment. Stick around, though. We have a lot of action down on the farm. Oklahoma City was in action last night, and they had a lot of action. So, hey, let's not waste more time. Let's get right to it, and let's take a trip down the farm. Welcome to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network down on the farm. You're looking at Justin Robleski, who got the ball last night for AAA Oklahoma City. We will get into his start, but what I want you to look at right there, see that uniform? That is absolutely sweet. Last night was the beginning of the Comets era in Oklahoma City. Hey, I grew up with Oklahoma City being 89ers. I love that name. But that name never has been the name of Oklahoma City since they moved to the Bricktown Ballpark in 1998. So instead of going into the past, the ownership group decided to look into the future and honor Mickey Mantle with the name Comets. I will post a video of Alex Friedman telling the entire story. But I would love to say those uniforms are sweet. And what I really like about those uniforms is how they actually made it look like a Dodgers affiliate, kind of like the Great Lakes Loons whenever they wear their blue uniforms. So, hey, job well done. I can say this. Every time I see it, it does make me think of Mickey Mantle, which For a guy that grew up in Oklahoma, got to meet Mickey Mantle several different times, he meant a lot to me. The Comets name, it absolutely works for me. So I wanted to get into that absolutely very first and talk about the era of the Comets last night in Oklahoma City as they opened it up. But Justin Robleski, he had a really good start for AAA Oklahoma City last night. Matter of fact, pretty awesome. 5 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, and 2 walks. And the Hawkeye system's what they use in the stadiums to determine what pitch that they're throwing and whether it's in the strike zone and all that. So 4-seam for Justin Robleski, 94-96. This is what makes his fastball good, though. His spin touched almost 2,500, 2,482. And then his spin averaged over that magic number of 2,300. It averaged over 2,338. And then it also had a combined, between the vertical and horizontal movement of it, it had a combined 23 inches of movement. So you're talking about a ball that has great carry to it with almost 2 feet of movement that we've seen can touch upwards to 98, 99 miles an hour. That's why his fastball is so hard to hit. And then combine that with a sinker that has 25 inches of movement and has the same type of carry and spin rate. And that's why Justin Robleski, we saw last year, even whenever at the major league level, he was not executing his slider and his off-speed pitches the way that he wanted to. That's why he was able still to get away with it for the most part, just with that fastball, because of the carry and because of the great movement that he gets on it. So last night, you saw that go off of Dalton Rushing. Dalton Rushing actually had to come out of the game last night after he took one off the mask. But the breaking ball took him a minute to get the feel of, hey, that's first time out, no doubt about it. It was humid last night in Oklahoma City because we had storms around. You can see that front to back breaking ball there. But he landed, eventually, once he got the feel of it, he was very good. He landed 53% of his sliders in the zone, almost half of his curveballs, which again is very good. And in 76 pitches, he threw 49 strikes. So that's a pretty good ratio. Again, we talked yesterday. You want to throw enough strikes to be effective, but not so many that you become hittable. So what I took away from Justin Robleski's outing last night, so there was a lot of high floor to it, meaning when he wasn't executing, he was still getting outs. So that goes to show you, even when things aren't going perfect for Justin, he's still able to function and get outs. But then there was also a lot of high ceiling, you saw right there with his fastball, and the fact that whenever he was dropping his bombs with his breaking balls last night, they were really, really good. So a lot of high floor and also a lot of high ceiling, in my opinion, to Justin Robleski's start last night. So super exciting to see him pitch, and then also exciting to bring in the Comets era. This is Michael Chavis right there, and that is a home run that registered on radar. I've got a lot of good video of him from the first workout of AAA Oklahoma City. There's Eddie Rosario right there, who has been a professional hitter for a long time. So the Dodgers signed Chavis in February as a free agent. Another one of those quad A guys like Eddie Rosario, Joe Jakes, who threw last night, meaning they have major league experience. They're on a minor league contract. 1,106 major league at-bats for Michael Chavis, 29 years old, so still not too old. He's an infielder that was working out of third base the other day with the video I took. He's played a lot of second base, so again, versatility. You see he has a world of power. So another guy with major league experience to add to the depth pool in the Dodgers system, and he hit a big home run last night. Again, that is Michael Chavis in the Dodgers system, another one of those quad A depth guys. And then Ryan Sublette came in last night. I talk about him quite a bit, and he gave up a home run to the very first hitter he faced. And I talk about if you follow Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network at all, the one thing I always talk about, that pitch right there is nasty, is that just nobody ever seems to hit Ryan Sublette. And then he comes in and the first guy just tattoos a home run. And I'm thinking, man, baseball's awesome, because, I mean, that's not awesome. And he gave a home run, but it's just whenever you think you got it figured out, the exact opposite seems to always happen. Coach Holt calls it, hey, best laid plans, right? They never seem to work out. But how about after this, okay? He retired the next 4 hitters, 2 via the strikeout. So he came in and got the last out of 1 inning. through the next inning, and he threw 10 strikes out of the 14 pitches he threw. Now, why is that important? Because the one thing that I've always said, you can see, look at that side slot, look at that movement. He is nasty, kind of Dylan Floro-ish. I know a couple of commenters have said that's who he reminds him of. Throws a very heavy ball. And so, although he did give up the home run last night, he does not get barreled very often. His problem has been walk rate, point blank. Get the ball in the zone. So the takeaway last night was the fact that 10 of the 14 pitches that he threw last night were in the zone for Ryan Sublette. And then this is Joe Jakes. Came to the Dodgers in the offseason, another one of these quad A guys, major league experience on a minor league contract. One of those guys that was DFA'd, the Dodgers picked him up. He chose free agency instead of actually over the offseason chose free agency. And the Dodgers signed him. Sinkers 91, 93. Sweeper is able to create soft contact. You saw right there. There's that sinker. That's about a 91 to 92 pitch. There's the sweeper right there. You can see soft contact, hard to hit. There's another little sinker pitch to the bottom of the zone. So professional bottom of the zone hitter, professional ball turner in Joe Jakes. Again, minor league contract. And he also flipped in a couple of sliders too. So I have not seen Joe Jakes pitch a ton. Got to see him one time in spring training and then got to see him last night. And that's pretty much it. But that sweeper, that right there, that's going to be very tough against lefties. He would be that old loogie guy in the past. Of course, you can't do it anymore. But before there was the 3-batter minimum, you'd bring him in just to face that one lefty, right, where he would come in and throw that sweeper to lefties and get the lefty out. Then you would bring somebody else in. But still, with the sweeper that turns right, and then the two-seam that turns left, he has both turns, and he's able to hit the bottom of the zone, which is very effective. So Joe Jakes, there's a good look at him. And then this guy, oh my gosh, Sam Carlson. His first 2 pitches, that one there, that is just dirty right there. That's dirty. I mean, that pitch backs up, and a right-hander is leaning out over the plate, and then you have that, then you get chase. So once you land 2 of them in the zone, then you show one in the zone and throw it out of the zone and get chase. There you see him stealing strikes again. That's the key to Sam Carlson. His stuff is absolutely nasty. And with all those turns that you see, he's still able to ride the top of the zone like that, even though he's 91 to 93, because you have to be so ready for all of those slider-type pitches, the cutters, and everything that moves, that you're not ready for the high rider, and that's why he's able to dominate at the top of the zone, just almost identical to Kirby Yates like that. He's able to take about 93 and dominate with that pitch because he set it up with everything else. So his stuff is just absolutely gross. It's going to come down to, can Sam Carlson throw strikes over and over and over consistently enough, not just strikes, good strikes like that, to continue to get professional outs. So that is our Down on the Farm segment for today. It was a great game last night in Oklahoma City, the beginning of the Comets era. So I hope you enjoyed our show today. And until next time, it's a great day to be a Dodger.